For Friday, day C momentum, we are sticking with our supersets. So our first grouping of supersets is going to be a plank alternating toe touch with a banded overhead raise. So you're going to have them pace out their plank. So I like to put feet hip width just because we are changing the dynamic of that plank. And we're going into a single arm as they reach towards that opposite shin and then come back to that plank, alternating here. Okay. If somebody has a hard time going in single arm, they can go to the knees and go shoulder taps. They can go shoulder taps in a plank, or you can have them do just a plank to pike so that they're still getting the benefit of opening that shoulder overhead range. For the banded overhead raise, this is going to be to help encourage some rotator cuff strength through shoulder flexion. So we have banded loop around the wrists, creating tension so those forearms are staying parallel and they're trying to raise overhead and bring it back down. So this is all about building tension. This is probably a little bit more akin to like a Pilates type movement versus one of our refit strength type movements because they're maintaining tension through range. And we want to try to make sure that as the arms raise, we're not seeing a shoulder hike. So trying to keep that good packed shoulder as they essentially body saw the arms up and down. Superset number 2 is going to be a good morning and a banded 1-2 high knee. So for this one, goal is to hold the goblet position for the kettlebell as best possible. So we're going to come over top of that bell, 2-hand cleanup, really pack those shoulders and really think about sending the hips back, keeping the back nice and flat, squeeze the glutes to come tall. So really try to cue your members to push the car door closed with the butt so that we're getting that nice strong hinge. If this is uncomfortable for them or it's causing them to round, have them put that kettlebell behind the back because this is going to help maintain a nice neutral position as they go into that hinge. With the kettlebell in this second position, it is going to feel a lot lighter, so they may want to bell up if that's the option that they're choosing. For the banded 1-2, we put that loop on. You're going to start with 1 foot up, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And then they would switch, starting with the other leg raise, that quick 1-2. Superset 3 is going to be strider and a push-up. So you're going to have them find that plank. You're going to step forward, rotate open towards that leg. If they need to put the knee down, they can put the knee down, or they can put the knee down to try to get a deeper stretch into that hip flexor. Just make sure they're squeezing the glutes so that we're not overly rotating in the pelvis. Step back, opposite foot, rotate up. So goal here is that they're alternating sides. Once they've hit their 5 and 5 for each, they're going to drop down into that push-up, whether they need to be on knees or in that full plank. Preferably we do elevate the hands, but because we're trying to make this a little more seamless, you can let them drop to the knees. Just make sure you are explaining to them this does cut some of that engagement and stability from the glutes. Making sure hands are stacked under the shoulders and that our elbows are tracking at that 45-degree angle or right along the rib cage. Last superset for momentum day C is going to be our goblet clean. So you're going to stand over top of that bell, finding that nice strong hinge, big pull, touch to the ground. So make sure we are tapping that ground in between every clean. Okay, this is one we've had in the rotation pretty consistently over the last couple cycles, whether it's been on strength or momentum and on varying days. So hopefully they're starting to go a little bit heavier with this to help build a nice strong hinge pattern. Second exercise is going to be a lateral bound. So starting on one leg and trying to gain as much distance as possible. So I know we've been trying to stay consistent in terms of exercise names, and this does look like an ice skater. When I do an ice skater, I'm trying to go really quick and fast, not necessarily focusing on the distance. Here, we want to try to get them to gain that distance across the space. So that's why I'm referring to it as a lateral bound versus an ice skater. So for Momentum Day C, the community builder, Hyrox is having a moment right now, so we're going to try and maximize on it. So it's a chipper style because I know we only have so many pieces of cardio equipment in all the studios, they don't have to complete that whole exercise before moving on to the next one, okay? So try to encourage members to be mindful. So if they're doing the assault runner, which is a 500 meter amount, maybe go 100 or half before hopping off and trying to do some other exercises, and then seeing when that piece of equipment is back open to jump back on and finish out that amount. Now, if it works better for your class and who you have in class to set people at stations and they complete all of the assault runner or the rower or ski erg or whatever cardio equipment they choose, if it makes more sense for them to do that all at one time and then rotate, then they can do that whole exercise and then move on to the next, okay? So figure out what makes the most sense for what you have in your studio and how many people you have in that class. The reason I am over here is because I want to talk about the ski erg. So for the ski erg, if you have one in your studio, we want to try to emphasize the hinge in the pull, okay? So when you are using the ski erg, right, we have the handles here, you are hinging the hips back and then finishing and following through with the arms and then coming back tall. You can come up onto the toes here so the heels may elevate. They don't have to, but they can. So the goal here is that it is still a little bit of that lower body where we're hinging, throwing the arms down. Hinge, arms, coming up on toes so that you're getting some of that leg drive, okay? So if you're using a ski erg, try to help cue individuals to use the ski erg that way. There's also some tips on the rower that we can talk about. I feel like maybe we've done that before, or we'll let some individuals who are actual rowers talk about that. But again, with a rower, emphasizing the push from the legs and then the follow through with the arms. We don't have a rower in Fishtown, so I can't demonstrate that. But the ski erg and the rower are 750. If they're doing an assault bike or the assault runner, it's a 500 meter distance. The second movement is a medicine ball sprawl into a medicine ball slam. We don't really have anywhere in the studios where we can do a medicine ball throw, and I was really leery of just having people do a toss and trying to catch it because somebody's going to complain that they hit themselves in the face. So medicine ball sprawl to medicine ball slam. You'll also notice that with these exercises, there's a total if they're doing it solo or if they choose to do it in a pair, okay? So for the medicine ball sprawl, what's gonna happen is the medicine ball is gonna be on the ground. They're gonna put their hands down, step, step, step in, slam. Step, step, come in, slam. If they feel comfortable and stable enough, you could have them jump. So hands down, jump out, jump in. Hands down, jump out, jump in. Slam. Okay, so give both of those options depending on their comfort level. They can choose where they feel suits them best for that exercise. Third exercise of the chipper is 60 farmers marches or whatever the increased number is for pairs. We also off to the side, just so you know, we put what the weights are for the actual Hyrox competition. So there's a women's range and there's a men's range. The heavier weight is for the pro when competing in Hyrox. Okay, so for this one, this is to mimic the farmers carries that they do. So you're gonna have them grab their weights, same size kettlebells, nice strong marches, okay? They can rest as they need, making sure that they're not swaying as they hit that march. Last official exercise of the Hyrox Community Builder is goblet lunges. So again, we have weights to the side. So if you wanna let them know that that's the range for the Hyrox, but also encourage them to choose whatever weight feels best suited for where they are at that day. They are going to find their kettlebell, bring it into that goblet position, and then find that lunge. The goal is that we tap that back knee to the floor. That's full range. If they have knee pain with that, you can have them adjust the range so that they're just going to what feels comfortable. Some members with knee pain might feel better going into a forward lunge, so you can always offer that as an option. Typically reverse lunge is a little bit better because you're sending the momentum back and you're not loading the knee forward, but to each their own. So you will see at the end of the community builder, there is a bonus. Because we weren't sure how to gauge this in terms of how much time this is going to take for some of our more advanced members, we have an optional core circuit that they might get to. They may not, and that is okay. So if somebody finishes with 5 to 7 minutes or whatever left on the timer, they've hit everything through their chipper, you're going to offer them this core circuit exercise. And they're going to do it AMRAP style. So it's a candlestick exercise, which I'm going to show you here using a kettlebell as an anchor. It's max hold side plank on the right and the left, because we really want to emphasize some lateral stability. And then it's a kettlebell around the world, and we're going to do that around the lower body. Okay, so a candlestick is an exercise where in gymnastics you actually start standing, you drop your hips down, you roll back onto your back, the legs go straight in the air, and then you pop back up. We're not doing that whole motion, but in order to make sure that people have some point of stability, a lot of times you will have them hold onto a rack, or you can have them hold onto a heavier kettlebell. You may refer to this as a reverse crunch, and they're going to try and stamp their feet on the ceiling. Okay, this is technically called a candlestick. Okay, once they've hit that number, they're then going to go into their max side plank hold, which can be straight legs on elbow, straight legs on straight arm, or they can use the knee bend option. So they're going to do a max hold on the left side, max hold on the right side, resting when and as they need. And then the last one is going to be standing next to a kettlebell, single arm suitcase deadlift, and then you're passing that bell around the lower body 8 times one way, 8 times the opposite direction. Okay, trying to make sure that the trunk isn't swaying as the kettlebell does. So it's just the kettlebell that's moving, so that we're really working that full core stability.